Hi Dorothy, Vic speaking. It's very nice to meet you. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me today on eco-pedagogies in advanced topics in environmental sustainability and social justice.
You're welcome, Victoria. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm fine. Thank you so much for asking.
Okay, I have a few questions I would like to ask you. And the first is, which readings or content have you found the most compelling this week and why?
Yeah, all the readings are really interesting, but the readings I found most compelling this week that challenged my views is on the concept of community, democracy, and capitalist globalization by Clover, and the other authors are Jeff, Rebecca, and John. So in my opinion, a community is a group of people living together with a sense of trust. They depend on and care for one another. Listen to the word, care for one another. Nevertheless, the authors, Rebecca, Jeff, and John, complicated this by arguing that a community is a group of people living and working together in a relationship of mutual support. They stated that environment and human communities depend on one another, which is actually a fact. More so, society promotes the tyranny of the majority. I agree with them that human beings desire a just and healthy community for both generations to come. People should live without biases and assumptions, which is, not applicable to the society today. So they should live without biases and assumptions, since diversity is the community's strength, and we need one another to in diverse ways. This describes the reason for teamwork in any organization or in any work setting in Canada, because we need each other. So I question diversity, democracy, and sustainability because they intertwine. Unfortunately, human beings live in economic relationship and are treated as commodities with a value hierarchy where status and values are given to some people in the community and the society. So check out a manager or a director position in a work setting. The position is specific for specific color of people, while the low position is for another group of people. You know what I mean. So why must it be so? This contract confirms that others are excluded from nature and humanity, as the authors have studied. In this concept, my opinion ranges from race, class, gender, and nationality, making some groups of people less critical, undervalued, inferior, suffering in today's world. The same group suffer from education, politics, other economic issues, and other things. So who gets value has the authority to decide without justice in most cases. So people need to live well, we know, but to contribute to the decision about their lives is mandatory, is reasonable. I mean, I agree with the authors who talked about community. I mean, Rebecca, Jeff, and John, that people should be able to make decision or contribute to the decision of about their lives and address the problem that affects them and the climate Earth and the planet Earth, which is now heading to destruction if care is not taken. Thank you, Vic.
Okay. So the second question is there some aspect of the readings this week that challenge your ideas about social justice and the environment?
Of course, yes. In Clover's reading, why will capitalist globalization share blood? I mean, the capitalist globalization, why will there be bloodshed to benefit from other countries' natural resources? Why must farmers and rural peasants push off? Why must these people be pushed off from their fertile lands for social infrastructure. Many people do not have control over their land and territories. We all know. They are faced with numerous challenges, from devastating environmental degradation to food insecurity to natural disaster, so many things which impacts their lives tremendously, ranging from food and culture and tradition and language. Vic, in fact, globally, the drive to accumulate wealth endangers the lives and livelihoods of the voiceless group of people, mainly those from developing countries, with social breakdown and wars. The poor voiceless people are dispensable commodities because capitalist globalization has a powerful impact on human domination in our society. Take, for instance, the Kensarawiwa, which the authors mentioned. Kensarawiwa came from Niger Delta in Nigeria, where there is oil, the oil production. And you know that Nigeria makes the highest production the percentage in Africa of oil. I mean, they make the highest percentage of oil in Africa. So the same thing goes with Muammar Gaddafi, who died, Saddam Hussein, who never died their natural deaths, but were unjustly killed because of their natural resources, I presume. Today, Nnamdi Kanu of our time is facing the same battle because he wants his people to be saved from Janjaweed, from the Sahel, from taking their lands for land grazing and economic jihad. The Sahel are geared and sponsored by the Britain. Yes, they are. The farmers are being killed in their own farmland. Their crops are being eaten by the cattle by the herdsmen. The whole world kept watching Biafra without intervening because the West does not want to be deprived from the natural resources which they are benefiting from Nigeria. Since 1914, Lord Lugard destroyed and created Nigeria by merging different cultures together, different traditions together, and the destiny of millions of the citizens of Nigeria are in jeopardy today. To date, millions live in poverty and degradation. Degradation of the environment is a matter of death and life for women, children, and the entire community. Secondly, most countries in Africa are where the capitalist countries scramble to get their natural resources to amass wealth. However, these countries are their attempt shitholes. Yeah. You can remember when Donald Trump called Nigeria shithole. They are described as poor and developing country, and that they need help. Many are dying in the Mediterranean Sea today, and the people are regarded as inferior even when they migrate from their wealthy countries to the north. They are faced with racism. Thank you, Vic.
Thank you very much. Is there some aspect of the reading that confirms your idea about climate change, genetically modified food, and many more?
Of course, yes. Here we are in University of Toronto. We are studying social justice, including a community well-being and justice, just to learn about it. And that is it. For the leaders and those in power, there is no accountability, no implementation of justice. Corporations are not protecting humans, but creating genetically modified food, such as there's this tosinte. That is, it was a plant that is now transformed to corn through genetically modified food. Even as at last week, I experimented organic chicken and inorganic chicken. It was bizarre. To be candid, after cooking both of this chicken differently and at the same number of time, I got a different thing from the inorganic chicken. It melted. Meanwhile, the organic chicken was intact. That shows you what the chemical effect in our food, the causes of it. And you can imagine the cost in our health. So that is it, Vic. So, I mean, I don't understand why at times the government and the media do not care about this because of the lobbyists. No one gives an account of poisonous food. which has led to the death of many, I presume. Thank you, Vic.
Can you talk about one section part of the readings that you found confusing or that require further clarification for you?
Yes, Vic. Actually, why does the government, the economists, the corporations, politicians, and the mainstream media or journalists view globalization as the natural result of economic development? They increase profit by seeking the cheapest source of labor and raw materials, the corporations, with facilitation through policy making at the national and international levels. Developing countries pay with their lives. Yes, inequality and poverty ravage these poor masses in their various countries. Why must it be so? Communities are negatively impacted in their environment. Floods and other natural disasters have caused hundreds and thousands of deaths, all covered up by the sponsored media. Of course, when something like this happens, you don't hear about them. Thank you, Vic.
What questions are raised for you by the readings from this week? In other words, what questions does the reading lead you to pose that you would like to hear more from the class?
Actually, I would like to hear more. If at all we will talk about it, because if the Africans are shithole, why will their natural resources scramble for by world powers? That is basically my question. With my study, there is entrenched hatred for the indigenous people. I'm taking, for instance, Biafra. The same goes with indigenous people globally. Efforts are on the rise to wipe them out from the face of the earth. If Biafra, Germany, France, and many countries' population are below 100 million, each and every one of them, and Nigeria is approximately 220 million. What deprive the world power to listen to the cry, to listen to the yearning of the Biafrans to be on their own as a nation? The dictators of the world have rejected this time and time again. Right from 1961, there was independence of Nigeria. So, what prevents the United Biafra of United States of Biafra, since we have United States of America? The same thing, we have different regions, we have different different tribes, different languages, and what have you. But these people are still glued since 1914 by Lord Lugard for them to come together as a nation, which has made it very, very difficult to govern this country. Why are citizens not given that opportunity to demonstrate or challenge, the corporate world power, which insists on uniting these countries? Look at Obama controlled the election of 2015. It's in the media. The election, by giving it to Buhari, and wanted Jonathan to step down, which has led to millions of deaths by Fulani herdsmen today in Nigeria. According to Clover, the political power seemed to lie in the political arena, with democratic governance in question. Casting of ballots every 4 to 5 years means nothing in the developing world, whose ballot boxes are being controlled by the West, by putting in place leaders they can control, so that they can control their natural resources also. Not what the masses want. You understand? Today, what is the situation of Nigeria? What is the situation of Libya? What is the situation of Iraq? Whom, their rulers or their leaders have been turned around. And you can imagine, Gaddafi is in the grave. Saddam Hussein, the same thing. So what happened to them? Your guess is as good as mine. The West creates saboteurs to fight fellow citizens, make developing countries ungovernable. They initiate IMF loan to them to control their economy. They try to tell them to privatize their industries. Issues like Milton Friedman on his initiative, even with his initiative on opportunity. because they always want to use opportunity in every situation. Thank you, Victoria, not to take your time.
Okay. Did you find any shortcomings of the readings this week? For instance, is there anything that you found confusing, contradictory, or problematic?
Yeah, I have so many problems regarding the readings. But first of all, the problem issue is concerning, concerning human beings. So if human beings make their world by learning and participating in it, what prevents the indigenous peoples of various countries in this century to live amicably and happy? Meanwhile, science has come, technology has come, and economics has come. The Milton Friedman has destroyed their peace and established their peace they have established in centuries by the inhabitants. So an example is the Stone Age. It lasted for 3.4 million years. And these people were living peacefully. They had brain to, to manufacture issues, to discover issues, to, invent issues, invent so many things. And their lives were worth living without economic intervention. Why is it taking centuries? That's another question I want to pose. Why is it taking centuries and will still take more decades, if not centuries, for collaborative endeavors among human beings on earth? Basically, the whites to realize that blacks are also human beings. Because the way they are treated in this world is nothing to talk about. I don't know how to describe it. Thank you, Victoria, for your interview.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.